Good day, everyone. You are welcome to another facilitation time on SED412 Industry and Industrialization. In today's class, we are going to examine the principles of location of industries and also examine the classification of industries. We shall look at definition of industries. We shall also look at classification of industry into sectors. We're also going to, learn to distinguish between industry classification benchmark (ICB) and global industry classification standard (GICS). Classification of industry by product, standard industrial classification SIC, classification using code, and we're also going to examine classification of industries based on products. Then location of industry as definition. What are the factors that should be considered when trying to when taking the decision on location of industries, and what are the major roles of government? What is the role of government, in participating, involved or in the intervention on location of industries? These are some of the few issues we are going to be looking at in today's discussion. As usual, get your writing material, your pen and your book. Let's meet at our discussion platform. So let's meet there. Now you are welcome to the learning platform, and like we said, the topic is location and classification of industry. I am Dr. Amusa Oluwadamilare. In looking at the intended learning outcome, as we can see, at the end of this class, we should be able to achieve all these six objectives, from definition of industries, classification industries into sectors, up to definition of location of industries, state reasons for government participation in the location of industries in Nigeria. So these are some of the learning outcome we're expecting to achieve. What is industry? Industry is simply the production of goods or services within an economy. So it involves raising, producing, processing, manufacturing, designing, all those things that will bring products out of what. And one of the major things is to learn to classify industries. And there are different ways of classification of industries. Basically four. We have classification into sectors, classification based on market classification system, we have classification by product, and we have what we call standard industrial classification. So these are the basic ways of classifying industries. So we're going to examine the classification of industry into sectors. We have primary sector, secondary sector, tertiary, quaternary, and quaternary. So that of the primary sectors, these are those that are extraction industries that extract things directly from the earth surface. So it includes farming, mining, logging, and so on. Then you go to secondary. This has to do with processing of products from primary industries. So this includes all factories. We go to tertiary. In the tertiary, it is involved delivery of sales of goods. They include truck drivers and retail workers. That of quaternary is involved research in science and technology and other high level tasks. Some in some classification they stop on 4, other put in quaternary, which involve highest level of decision making in the. Now, one of the major way of classification is market based classification, which is industry classification benchmark ICB and global industry classification standard. Under the first one, it is first of all classified into 10 industries, grouped into 19 super sectors, and is further divided into 41 different sectors, which then contain 114 subsectors. So they are done at different levels. They are done at different levels. If you look at that of global industrial classification standard, uh, we have consumer discretionary, consumer staples, energy, financials, healthcare, and so on. So in the basics, they have 10 general division, which is called 10 sectors. Under the sectors, we have 24 industry groups, 68 industries, and 154 sub-industries. So I want you to understand why this classification should be at this level. So there are 4 basic levels. So if you are talking about market-based classification system, these are what is to classification of industry by product. Classification of industry by product, chemical industry, petroleum industry, automotive, electronics, meat package industry, hospitality, and so on. Semiconductor industries, cultural industries, poverty. So these are some of the classifications again that we have. If we don't use that one, it is standard industrial classification. Standard industrial classification. It is based on 4-digit codes. 4-digit code. It is established in the United States in 1937 and is used by agencies in other nations, not only United States, but other nations have adopted this classification. The first 3 digits of the SIC code indicate the industry group. The first 2 digits indicate the major group. And you can just go through your course materials for details explanation on the standard industrial classification. If you can see the picture on this side, from 0, 1 to 9, these are the industry that fall under that code. From 10 to 14, and so on and so forth. Now, let's go through this uh, activity time. Briefly describe the industry classification template you prefer to adopt. Why your choice and not others? So you should explain why have you decided to choose any of the 4 and why not others. So move on. We're going to talk about information industry. Information industry. The information industries are industries that are information intensive in one way or the other. So they deal with information. Industries producing information goods and services are called information industries. They include media industries, such as those that deal with music and motion pictures. Even dealing on personal computers, they has to do with information industries. Video games related industries are part of the industries. And in case of businesses, information industries include computer programming, system design, telecommunication, and host of. So now, way to classify information industries. Companies which produce and sell information. They deal with production of information and they also sell. We also have information processing services. So industries that are concerned with the dissemination of information goods. So they are of different types. They are of different types. Manufacturers of information processing devices, such as computer, our telephone, the Android phones, different tablets, and so many other gadgets that are used in information industry. So that's another classification. So they fall into groups. Industry that serve as infrastructure for information production and sophisticated decision making. These are different ways of classifying information in. For us to see, why is information industry important? Question mark. Why is information industry important? Number one is because it boosts innovation and productivities of other industries. Definitely, it boosts productivity. It's in terms of advertorial, in terms of you know, bringing up things that will increase productivity in terms of marketing. So that's in the area. Information industries are rapidly growing part of economy. In today's economy, because of the development in information and communication technology, it has added value into information industry. So It is a growing economic sector, and information becomes the central part of economic activity. We evolve into information society. We are in the era of social media. Information is now the order of the day. People want to have information, access to information at every minute. You mention all the social media, the WhatsApp you use, your Facebook, your Twitter handles, and different types of source of information on the social media. They are there. So we have manufacturers of information processing devices. So all these two, they are they are billions of dollars industries, and it has added value to us. So classification of locally manufactured products in Nigeria. So this is another way of classification of locally products in Nigeria, locally manufactured products. We have the food, beverage and tobacco, chemical and pharmaceutical industries, domestic industrial plastic and rubber, basic metal, iron and steel, and fabricated metal products. We have those that deal with paper and publishing and printing company, electrical and electronics. So these are products that are manufactured in Nigeria, textile and wearing apparel and leather. We have wood products including furniture, non-metallic mineral products, vehicle and miscellaneous assembly. So these are ways of classification of manufactured products in Nigeria. Now let's quickly look at location of industry. What is location of industry? It is the establishment of a firm or industry in a particular place. An industry may be established either by individual or government, either for economic or political reasons. So that is basic. The major condition for locating an industry is that the cost of production must be at the lowest level in order to ensure the continued existence of such industries. For example, this is Obajana Cement. It is located in Obajana area, and the primary reason is because of proximity to raw materials. So that is one of those things. When we're talking about location of industries, there are so many conditions that you need to look at before. There's about 16 different factors that will influence uh, your decisions in location of industries. Number one, proximity of raw materials is very key. Nearness to markets, availability of capital, nearness to source of power, availability of labor, adequate transport system, political stability, favorable growth, location of other firms that will serve as benefit to your firms. Government policy, sometimes maybe state government policy, it could be favorable in the northern part of the country, it may not be favorable in the southern part, it may be favorable in the eastern part of the country. Sites and services. So these are some of the let's continue on that slide. Yes, natural and climatic condition. Sometimes it may not be favorable, in the northern part of the country. It may be favorable due to the weather in the southern part of the country. Personal factors. You may have personal factors. For example, if you are an industrialist, so you may have your particular reasons, maybe to create jobs for the people of your community. There are so many other strategic reasons. These reasons are all contained in your study materials. I want you to read further on some of these factors. And government also have their reasons for participation in the location of industries. And some of the cogent ones are to raise the standard of living of a particular place. So if they want to improve the condition of living in the area, they can start an industry in that area. Provision of standard goods. If there are industries, there's very high tendency there will be good roads, electricity, some basic amenities. Equitable spread of development. Yes, equitable spread of development. You should not concentrate the particular area, so they take it to other areas to bring about development in another area of the country. Political consideration is also very key. To check rural-urban drift, rural-urban migration, for economic development, provision of standard goods, and for strategic reasons. and we also have provision of employment opportunities. These are some of the reasons why government and the Senate arm of the government, the federal government, the House of the Representative, all the House of government. And to wrap up, to end our class today, I also want you to take this activity as an industrialist. Articulate 10 factors that will be considered when planning for the location of your new industry. So these second activities, ensure you attempt all these. So to wrap up this segment, we have learned that industrial classification organize economic activity in general and economic organization such as companies, non-profit organizations, and so on. In particular, into categories generally called sectors or industries. So we have learned those ways of classification of those industries. We have also talked about many factors that influence the location of industries. Nowadays, the change from heavy industries to light industries has meant that industries can locate anywhere, and so other factors such as communication and government policies. So before we meet again next time, I say goodbye to you and God bless.